Okay, so we're going to look at factoring trinomials by a method called decomposition. This is a trinomial because there are 3 terms in it. Okay, and factoring trinomials, what we're really doing is we're taking, this is usually known as the standard form. Okay, so this is our standard, and we're going to put it into our factored form. Okay. And in order to put it into factored form, we have to factor.
That's what the process is. Standard and factor today. You didn't go into vertex.
So let's look at this kind of like this being our parent function. The coefficient in front of x squared would be called a. The coefficient in front of the x would be called b. Okay? And the constant term at the very end is called c. So first thing we have to be able to do is tell which is A, B, and C. So what is C in our question here? What number represents C?
12.
Yeah, and technically negative 12. So let's keep that in mind. What about our B?
Negative x, or did you say x?
Yeah, you're right. It's the x here, but
negative 1.
That's it. Negative 1. Technically, there's a 1 here. Okay, and what would our A be in this case?
1.
Just 1. Yeah, it's just the 1, right? We're looking for the.
Is it squared? 1x squared?
No, it's just the number 1. We're just looking for that number that's not written there. Okay, so with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to break this down. We need 2 terms that multiply to equal what A times C is. Okay, those same 2 terms have to add to whatever our B term is. Okay, so I've written it kind of out like this. It's almost like a chart.
A to C again? They have
to multiply to what A times C is.
Equals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So let's kind of set that up. So here I'm going to leave blank times blank is equal to, and what is our A value?
1.
1. And what's our C value?
Negative 12.
Yeah. So what is what's 1 times negative 12 equal?
It's going to equal negative 12.
Negative 12. So we need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 12. Those same 2 numbers have to add, what is our B value?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Those same 2 numbers have to add to negative 1. So luckily I have a pen that kind of erases as we write. We're going to start writing some of the factors of 12. Okay? So you could, if you kind of get confused, one way you could do this is on the side here, start writing out all of your factors, right? So you could be like 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And that's technically all the factors.
Of 1 and the factors of 12?
Yeah, well, these are actually all factors of 12. This times this is 12, this times this is 12, and that times that. So let's try our first set. 1 times 12. One of them will have to be negative to make it negative 12. So let's arbitrarily choose one. Let's say negative 1 times 12. Well, what's negative 1 plus 12? You might need a calculator. I'm going to say it out loud, but you follow along, okay? Negative 1 and 12 is going to actually be the number 11. So that didn't work. We could have also done 1 times negative 12, and 1 plus negative 12 actually gives us negative 11. Again, didn't work. So we know that that set there is no good. And what we're going to do is just go through our sets of factors, okay? I'll go a little quicker with the next one. 2 and 6. 1 will have to be negative. So negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Negative 2 plus 6 is actually positive 4. So that didn't work. Let's try the negative with the other number. 2 times negative 6, that's still 12. 2 plus negative 6
still negative 12?
Is negative 4. Again, that set didn't work. So we're only left with one set here. So we know it's going to be this. We just got to figure out which one's going to be positive and which is going to be negative. So 3 and 4, let's start with the 3 being negative. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. Didn't quite work. Okay, and let's write the next one out. 3 times negative 4, that equals 12. Right, that's one of our sets of factors. 3 plus negative 4 is equal to negative 1. Okay, so that very long process there. So I'll put a negative here. So this is our set. Okay, now this really long process, I'm going to show you the reason we do this. So these 2 numbers are really important now. I'm going to take the original equation, the x squared minus x minus 12. So y equals x squared minus x minus 12. Okay. They call it decomposition because what we're doing is we're breaking up the middle term into these 2 terms. Okay. And the reason we're doing this, I want you to think of it like this. instead of just leaving this, because remember this was -1, we're going to rewrite -1 as two terms. So it's going to look like this. Y equals, still we have x squared. And it doesn't matter which one we write where. One will be positive 3x, and the other number will be negative 4x. Okay, so we've broken the middle term into two things.
Oh, the terms that you got that where you put them in the middle.
Exactly. And now we do common factoring. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to common factor the first set of numbers, and then we're going to common factor the second set of numbers. Okay, so let's look through a common factor. What would be a common factor of what I've highlighted in yellow?
X?
X, that's right. We could take x out. So if I take x out, do you know what I'd be left with in these brackets?
I know 3 goes in there somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have 3 as our second term.
So it's x plus 3?
X plus 3. Very good. Excellent. The second set. What can we factor out of there?
3 again?
Not 3. No, and we can't take an x out because there's no x here. But
12 will be a decimal number?
One of the factors of 12 is 4. And since they're both negative, let's factor out -4. Okay? So if we take out -4, that's the number that comes on the outside, we'll be left with x. And -12 divided by -4 is positive 3. Okay? In order for this to work properly, our two brackets have to be the same number. So we'll know we've made a mistake if these two brackets aren't the same. Okay? So because the brackets are the same, that's great. Do you remember doing a type of common factoring like this, where we have two brackets that are the same?
Yeah, I really mainly remember the one that you get the two brackets beside each other, and they have to be like, it was x plus 3, x take away 3. I don't remember like numbers.
Oh, that's difference of squares.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, what you could do here is, because these are
So
both the same, we can common factor this. This x plus 3. We have x plus 3. That's a common factor. And now our other set of brackets, okay, are the two terms that we common factor out in the first place. So that will be our x and our -4.
I remember that now from you teaching me this when I understood. Yeah.
Okay, so this is really important here. We've done this. We're now in factored form, which was our goal. Okay, we've got to factors form. Now there was a much easier way to do this. I could have shown you, but this method I've shown you will work for any trinomial that can be factored by whole numbers. So even when we have a harder value, when this a value is not 1, this method will still work. Okay, so this is factoring by decomposition.